We terminated our pregnancy at 21 weeks.
I was between 15 and a half and 16 weeks.
I was exactly at 18 weeks when I terminated my pregnancy.
18 weeks for the first and 14 weeks for the second.
21 weeks.
22 weeks.
I was 20 weeks and 5 days when I terminated my pregnancy. Her diagnosis was so severe, we knew that she wasn't going to survive no matter which route we went. And so I remember at night I was laying in bed and I just said, she deserves to have a name.
We named our daughter Angelica.
Her name was Lola.
His name is Carson.
We named our daughter Charlotte.
Our first one that we terminated was named Stephen. The last one that we terminated was named Rachel.
We were thrilled to know we were having a girl and decided on Naomi as the name.
I still, think of her as my daughter. We did not pick a name, and I still think about it every day.
A lot of what's talked about is, women who have unwanted pregnancies. But there are so many women who have wanted pregnancies, desperately wanted pregnancies, that have to make really hard decisions. And this bill doesn't seem to recognize that at all, and neither do the conversations.
It's very triggering. I'm always on edge and feel like I have to share things that I'm really uncomfortable sharing, just to help get it out that people can't be more wrong about a lot of this.
When I went through it 9 months ago, I thought of myself less anti-choice than I probably would like to admit to. But when I went through it myself and I saw the support I got from my family, it helped me through it. But this bill just reignites everything, because people that I would like to be able to tell my story to, I feel would judge me, call me murderer.
When I was at the clinic when we were losing our child, and the nurse was trying to put the IV in my arm, and she was having trouble, so obviously that's uncomfortable. And all I could hear outside is, you're murdering your child. My child who we prayed for years, that we finally had, and the fact, it was surreal that was happening to me.
We found out at 18 weeks that our daughter had a lot wrong in the ultrasound for the anatomy scan.
At our 20-week ultrasound, we were told that our daughter had severe hydrocephalus, which is a buildup of fluid on the brain.
The baby had full trisomy 18.
It's a condition that is not compatible with life.
That our baby had chromosomal problems. The second one, she was already starting to die. She had heart failure.
We researched, like you can't imagine, day and night, what would this look like if we were to try to go further in this pregnancy? What we were finding was just, sadness. It was just usually pregnancies don't make it to full term.
If she had made it to term, she would have likely died almost immediately.
If I can make a choice where it's the best outcome for my child to not have to suffer, that's what I'm going to choose. And I will choose it every day, whether it's legal or not.
Years ago, we didn't have a big group for medical terminations. And I would go to other support groups, and they told me, don't talk about that because the other women get so upset.
There's been so many lies out there about babies being born with these fatal diagnoses and then being executed by a nurse or a doctor afterward of the discussion. And it's disgusting, because that's not what that is. It's hospice, just like you would put your dying relative in if they had cancer. And the fact that that continues to be said is so disgusting and needs to be addressed. And no one's coming out and saying it. It's not even
so harmful
close.
and hurtful. I mean, I think that's when all of us really kind of bonded together, was after President Trump's speech, when he made that comment during the election cycles. And I think that's when all of us were just beside ourselves, because to imagine that's what anybody would actually want to do or do is just unfathomable.
No one seems to really factor in, I think, women's mental health. Like if you think about, like all of us have talked about the decision we had to make and the information we had to have and how quickly we had to do it. None of it hit me because I was having to go through it so fast. The impact it had on me psychologically, the impact it had on my husband, my child. Like we were moving so quickly, and all of these laws, they don't consider how it's gonna impact you and actually trying to grieve. I feel like we still grieve every day. I don't think it'll ever go away. It's losing a child. It's losing something that you wanted and loved, you know.
The decision we made was the toughest one we've had to make in our lives.
When you're pregnant and you have a baby, you yearn to hold them, to feed them, to nurse them, to put them to sleep. In my situation, there was nobody to hold. So, I mean, my arms physically ached. That's the best way I can describe it. I yearned to just hold and cuddle this baby that I had pictured in my mind and wanted so badly. I mean, I wasn't recovering from an abortion. I was recovering from a loss of a child. And I think that's what people don't understand.
Deciding to end a life that you wanted to bring into this world is immensely challenging. The other problem is, at the time, Georgia law gave us only a few days to make that decision. If we had had more time, our situation would have been different. We would have been able to probably gather a little, even more information about her, although we felt comfortable that we had enough, or just taken some time to seek that support or go to therapy, or all the things that might have been really helpful from an emotional and mental perspective in making a decision like this.
We had 2 weeks. We felt extremely rushed with our decision.
We wish that we would have had more time, but I just felt pressure to make a decision or...
Right.
Yeah.
Or then you don't have a decision if you wait too long.
I don't think I needed more time because I wish I made a different decision. I'm very comfortable with the decision that we made. I just wish we had more time to come to terms with what was happening.
When the news was broken to us that our baby was incompatible with life, and then in the same breath, these politics entered in where we felt forced to make a decision.
Quickly.
And I couldn't wrap my head around it, talking about legal termination. Well, what the hell does that mean? This is a medical decision for what's best for our baby. And so that felt like it had no place.
I remember when we were going to the clinic, I was nervous about being in a waiting room with women who had unwanted pregnancies because we had a pregnancy that was so desperately wanted. And if I was going to feel angry at them, or if I was going to feel like they didn't deserve to have this choice. And he told me on the way there, he said, nobody wants to be there. That's one thing we all have in common. And nobody does want to be there. You don't know what the circumstances are.
I remember at one point feeling selfish because I wanted her. And so I thought I shouldn't end the pregnancy because I want her. I want her here. But then I realized it's not about me. And I need her. And I didn't want her to suffer.
Every single situation is so completely different and so completely unique that there just can't be a hard and fast rule or a bright line rule as to when you can and can't do this. Everything is so unique and everybody's factors are so unique.
We're fully confident that we definitely made the right choice.
I don't regret my decision to end my very wanted but unviable pregnancy.
Sometimes politicians paint this picture of these evil women that are just out there wanting to kill babies or something crazy like that. And this is what's real. We're a family that wanted our daughter, tried to have our daughter. And the reality is that all pregnancies are not rainbows and roses. And I think people need to start thinking about the real and not just this story about abortion, and look at the real people behind it.